are an embodied reflection of Source. You are thus infinitely empowered, abundant, and a co-creator with your context always. You are an alchemist. Divination works because the web of life is intelligently organized with coordinated and storied agency. Let's take a look at the stories playing out now. Hi everyone, welcome to October 2016. There's a lot going on, much growth and evolution. Many people are awakening now. Let's take a look at nature's unfolding cycle. And to do that, we look at the new moon point, which is a natural new seeding point. September 30th, 2016, we're going to have our second new moon of the calendar month, and that's considered what's called a black moon. You can see from this particular image that we're looking at, there's a full moon in the background, but this image was too appropriate and adorable for what I wanted to use it for, to not use it. But we're talking about the new moon, which is when the sun and moon are conjunct, and it's going to be happening at the exact point the narrative starts on the 30th of September at 5:11 p.m. Pacific time. The Sabian Symbol, the story, the narrative that is underpinning the energy set of this 8-degree, 15-minute Libra new moon is 3 old masters hanging on the wall of a special room in an art gallery. The keynote from Dane Rudyard is the need to return to source during a confused search for new value in a chaotic society. Now we can feel into a couple of things. One is just paying attention to what the symbol is showing you in your mind's eye. 3 old masters paintings hanging on the wall of a special room in an art gallery. This has to do with mastery. This has to do with tradition. This has to do with creative endeavors. And it is the number 3. 3 is creation, it is communication, and it's also community. And of course, Libra is all about justice, equanimity. It's about harmony and peace in relationships. And indeed, there's much activated on the global stage with regards to the duality of the human nature is really coming to the fore. And so indeed the keynote of the need to return to source during a confused search for a new value in a chaotic society could not be more appropriate for the now. Cancer. So let's take a look at what's happening for you specifically over the course of October. First, I pulled the I Ching to look at your unfolding narrative. What is your microcycle? What is the story underpinning your month? You received 2 I Ching hexagrams. One was number 17 following, and the second, because number 17 following came with changing lines, and that hexagram became number 34, Great Vigor. So the combination of both of those messages, following and Great Vigor, is the underpinning story for you this month. Following has to do with going with the flow of events, going with the flow of what's happening, being responsive to what's happening, becoming that which you seek, becoming that which you want to engage with or become. So it's going with the flow of events. It's a matter of least effort. So here you are going with the flow, and Great Vigor is coming up, which means there's a lot of energy behind you. So whatever you are moving toward or moving with, there's great energy, great vigor that's at the core of the narrative for you this month. Now, if we take a look at the spread that came up for you, in the center, we can see the Higher Forces card. Now, Higher Forces is one of the most powerful cards that I created for this custom deck. You know, this is my own personal deck, my own communication tool with spirit that I'm using for these alchemy scopes. And Higher Forces has to do with spirit. It has to do with your higher self, It has to do with the greater cycle of unfolding for you. There is great spiritual power at the center of your focus this month. So higher forces is the central focus for Cancer over the course of this cycle. But there's some interesting contradictions that are occurring for you. So here you have going with the flow and great energy, great vigor, and then you have this focus of higher forces. However, in the spiritual sector of your spread, over on the far right side, you can see the card resistance. And resistance has to do with resisting what is happening. So what I want to say immediately, we look at resistance, we look at the insisting on difficulty. It's like for a lot of you out there, you're not fully going with the flow with great excitement, great vigor. You're resisting it. So the cycle for you is about go with the flow. There's great power now. Go with that flow. That's the story that's underpinning your cycle. And then when we get to your spread, which is talking about your specific event, circumstance, or situation, some of you are going to be in a state of resistance. There might be some sarcasm or cynicism or just a lack of information with regards to, spiritual understandings, metaphysical understandings, that sort of thing. Something very traditional maybe in the mind that's preventing you from really just riding the wave, like letting go and riding it. So it is very interesting that, because again, there's a bit of a contradiction. It's like there's a big urge, a natural cycle for you to really let go of the shore so that the boat can take you to where you need to be. And yet you're resisting it. There is spiritual resistance that's playing out. And it has to do with emotional challenge or difficulty, that you're insisting emotionally on the difficulty, on the challenge, that life is hard and then you die. That's kind of what I'm getting from this reading, Cancer. Now, this is a general reading. This is definitely not going to apply to all Cancers. I think there's lots of Cancers out there that are very aware of their spiritual storyline, and they trust. There's a bit more of a trust imbued. But again, with these general readings, I'm pulling up the predominant main theme of evolutionary unfolding for Cancers. And so for the predominance of Cancers, there is some emotional drama that you're still insisting upon. You're insisting in an emotional way that this is the way life is, almost in a dogmatic way. And that's creating resistance to the power that's playing out for you. At the foundation, there's a storyline of your own nature. I think, see, at the base of the spread, there's the nature card and the delicious card. And you can see nature is a tree. Within it is carved a woman. And in the delicious card, it's like a woman with witchy poo stockings holding a whiskey. So you couldn't get any better than those two things in my view, right? So here you have nature delicious. This is about your delicious nature. It isn't necessarily about nature, trees, grass, biota. This is about your nature, your soul nature. And it's about you giving your thoughts to spirit more. So let me explain. At the top of the reading, you see the giving card. This is in the mental sector. This has to do with you giving your mind over a bit to bigger thoughts, grander philosophies, bigger understandings, holistic understandings about your nature, about your delicious nature, about your soul journey, about who you are and why you're here. And yet, in the 3D reality, which I want to point out, if you look at the vertical, it's giving, delicious, nature, higher forces. If you look at the horizontal, which is like the 3D reality kind of line, you have resistance and insisting on difficulty. So on a physical 3D level, a lot of you are still insisting on drama, insisting on limiting thoughts, insisting on trouble, that life is hard and then you die. All you can trust is death and taxes. You know, this kind of mentality is driving the belief system that is underpinning this emotionality of insisting on difficulty. So again, I'm not going to get good ratings for this video because, you know, a lot of you are going to resist what this is saying. Some of you will get it. Some of you will understand that you still hold, even though you might be quite spiritual, that you still hold some resistance to the process and that you still doubt it. You still doubt the brilliance of nature. You still doubt the amazing synchronicity and interwebbed web of life, the interconnected, relational, synchronistic, symbiotic web of life. That's what this is talking about for you. This cycle is a very dynamic cycle for a lot of Cancers because you are kind of working between giving yourself away, letting yourself go into, giving your thoughts to who you are at your core, at your nature, who is your vital, delicious self, and your patterns that are ingrained, that are resistant, and creates or insists upon obstacles, difficulties, challenges. That's what this is talking about. So let's move on to your Dakini, Cancer. So the interesting thing for you is that the Dakini guidance, who you are to become in order to optimally ride this month ahead, for some of you out there that are going to be going through this dichotomy of experience where you kind of believe in spirit, but yet when you get to the root, when you really dive into your shadow, you really do have resistance to it. You really do have doubt. Who are you to become? Erotica. Number 41, erotica. That is your guidance. That is who you are to become, who you are to embody. And erotica is about the second chakra. This is about your core vitality. It really does speak to that number 34 great vigor that came up with the I Ching. So there, and the higher forces card that came up in the middle of your reading. So there's great power. There's great energetic charge, Cancer, to your cycle. What the growth edge for you, or for many of you, is going to be, is to be aware of how you resist it. That's what's really called. And for you to become erotica, which is tapping into your second chakra, deep, innate, sexual nature and sensual nature, it's going to connect you to a life force energy that maybe some of you have been numbed to, you know? So erotica is asking you to denumb. It's asking you to actually feel your body, feel your blood, feel your soul, feel your juice, feel your emotions. Stop insisting on the difficulty. Actually let this vitality flow through you, because there's blocks. And the resistance, you know, those blocks cause disease in the body. So it's important to not block. Nature doesn't block, only humans block. So it's important to not block, because blocks create dis-ease. So this is the big guidance for you, Cancer. And I'm aware that a lot of you are not going to like this reading, but this is what's coming for you. I have to communicate what's coming. It's very critical that we all wake up and swallow our medicine. So take what is coming and really see ourselves through clear eyes. And sometimes we see the ugliness within, or we see the ways that we've blocked ourselves. And it doesn't make us bad or wrong. It just makes us human, and it makes us honest. So when we can honestly attend to what is true for our particular cycle and then move ourselves into our next evolution, which is just what wants to happen, then all is well. That's all that can happen. That's all that we can ask for. That's all that's required. For you, this is a very powerful month. Higher forces is playing out for you. Great vigor is playing out for you. Going with that flow inherently in that cycle, following great vigor really is the inherent guidance for you. Erotica is the guidance for you. For you this month, become aware of how you resist, become aware of how you doubt, how you criticize, how you condemn, how you block the spiritual realities of reality. That's really the growth edge for you, Cancer. It's a big month. It's a big month for a lot of people, and this is your particular storyline. So I'm sending you lots of love and support over the course of this beautiful, expansive journey. I'll talk to you next month. Bye.